Hello everyone, my name is Huns and today I'm going to go over why the Darkmoon Faire Card, Warlords, is insanely overpowered for rogues. Especially rogues with full bloodfang set, the self-heals are amazing compared to what you'll be used to, which is only Crusader proc. First off, let's go over how to obtain this epic quality trinket for those who are newer to Classic WoW. You'll need to either farm out the card yourself or just buy them off the auction house. The prices on my server at least have gone way down. Honestly, if you have the extra gold, I just recommend buying them. Do not buy the deck. Just buy the cards separate because you'll save a lot of money. I got in a rush right after I got my last tier 2 set, or tier 2 piece for the 8 set, and I ended up paying 250 gold over what I should have. Just keep that in mind. Once you have the deck, you need to turn it in to get the trinket. If you're watching this on the first week of the month, you're in luck. Otherwise, you have to wait till the following month. Personally, I like to farm in Eastern Plaguelands at a place called Tyr's Hand. The mobs are elites, but easily can be soloable as a rogue. They also drop between 10 to 20 silver each. You can pickpocket them, which is a nice little boost in gold per hour. They also often drop greens and gray weapons that sell for 1 gold at least. And if you're on a PvP server like myself, the competition isn't really present there, and from my experience, Alliance players tend to keep to themselves. Another thing to keep in mind is that the enchanters have a low chance to dropping an enchanting recipe that sells for at least 100 gold. This is where we're going to be going to do our tests. On our first test, I'll be running swords with Crusader enchants in tier 2 gear. We'll be speeding up the segments here since there isn't really anything special going on, and what we're looking for is the end results. For our first test results, Heroism came out on top with 49.1% of the total heals. Bloodfang procs coming in second place with 35.1%, which honestly isn't too bad on its own. Lastly, Holy Strength, which is a Crusader enchant proc, healed us for 15.9%. This first test alone shows the true potential of Heroism, with it practically doing 50% of our total self-heals. You may notice the segments throughout the test are different, which that was a mistake on my behalf, but since we are only using the overall percentage, the stats rather than the actual raw numbers, it doesn't change the overall outcome at the end. We'll now be running 2 daggers with both lifestealing to test if lifestealing will be better solo self-heal than Crusader, as well as to test if Heroism will proc more with a faster weapon versus slower weapons. Similar to our last test, Heroism does come out on top, but only with 41% of the total heals versus the 49 of last time. Bloodfang did come in second place again with 35% of the overall heals, which is actually pretty interesting because it seems as though Bloodfang is pretty consistent so far with our results. Lifesteal did, however, do quite a bit more than the Crusader enchant, coming in last but with 23.2% of our overall healing. It is a trade-off, of course. It's 6% more self-heals, but at the same time you're losing the DPS boost from Crusader procs. Now that we tested swords and daggers alone, we are going to test 1 sword as well as 1 dagger. Our sword's going to have Crusader again, while the dagger is going to have lifestealing. As it turns out, either from RNG or just the fact of having a dagger and sword, it does affect the proc rate. Heroism came out on top again, of course, but this time with a total of 53% of the total self-heals, which is pretty amazing. Bloodfang ended up doing quite a bit less on this test. I'm going to be blaming that on RNG, but either way, it only pushed out a total of 23.9% on the total self-heals. I'm not really surprised that lifestealing came in third, though it nearly did double of what Crusader pushed out on this test at a 14.9%. So honestly, it may be worthwhile to run lifestealing in your offhand for solo farming, depending on how long the fights are, of course. Holy Strength really just didn't proc very much this time, at a 7.7% of the total self-heals. It helps with DPS, but if we're just looking for self-heals, it's not really viable. There you have it. This trinket is amazing and well worth the 50 to 100 gold it sells for. You'll easily make your money back with the time it saves from eating and bandaging alone. If you would like my opinion on what enchants to run for your weapons, I'd recommend Crusader. Lifestealing is great and all, but you can't really beat the 100 strength Crusader gives you, plus you won't have to go out of your way to get it. Unless you're a dagger rogue, of course, with 15 agility and weapon damage, but if that's the case, then just go opt out for lifestealing because it's much cheaper if you don't have Crusader. That's all I have for this video. If you found it informational, feel free to leave a like. If not, feel free to leave a dislike. If you have any ideas you would like me to try them out, let me know. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your new trinket.